Joel Greenberg, one-time associate of embattled Congressman Matt Gaetz, has agreed to plead guilty to 6 offenses, according to brand new court documents, and to help in the prosecution of others. Matt Gaetz is said to be under investigation into whether he violated sex trafficking law. But the 6 Greenberg charges represent just a fraction of the 33 original charges against him and include sex trafficking of a minor and introducing that minor to other men for sex. Other details paint a sordid picture leading to these felony charges. So joining me now, NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Garrett Haake, and Dave Ehrenberg, state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida. Good to have all of you here. Pete, let's start by laying it out. What exactly are the charges that Joel Greenberg has, according to these court papers, agreed to plead to?
Yeah, you put it exactly right. He's agreed to plead guilty. He won't actually do it until Monday. But according to the court documents, he will plead guilty to 6 charges. Now, that's 6 of the original 33. So that says something about what the government thinks his value is as a potential cooperator. But he admits in these documents to using a website to identify women that he later paid to engage in commercial sex acts with him and others. The others are not named, but the documents say for roughly 2 years, from December to December of 2016 to 2018, he paid more than $70,000 in 150 transactions to pay women for sex, and that one of them was under 18 for part of that time. The documents say Greenberg paid her for sex acts with him and others. She had an account on the website in which she represented that she was an adult. Greenberg is accused of having sex with her at least 7 times when she was a minor. And then the court documents say other men who Greenberg introduced to the minor engaged in commercial sex acts with the minor in his presence when she was under 18. And the other counts to which he agrees to plead guilty involve fraud, misusing his office, creating fake IDs.
David, it's very important to point out here that none of this mentions Matt Gaetz. We don't know if it has anything at all to do with Matt Gaetz. But does it tell you anything at all when you see a reduction in the number of charges against someone from, say, 33 to 6? Dave?
It does tell you a lot, because the feds are not going to cut a deal with a accused child sex trafficker, especially not a deal this generous, without that person able to give up a bigger fish. And they're not going to cut a deal with someone who will give up someone beneath them. Like, this is an ex-local government official. So the bigger fish is going to be a sitting member of Congress. Now, we don't know that for sure because his name is not mentioned, but this is a good deal for Joel Greenberg. He has 27 different counts dropped. And if he could produce the evidence, the documentation, the corroboration against Matt Gaetz or others who are bigger than he, then that is going to result in a reduction in his sentence, even below, very possibly, the mandatory minimums here. So it's all up to Joel Greenberg, because this deal only goes forward if he comes up with the goods.
So what do you think the chances are that Matt Gaetz is going to be spending some time with his lawyers, at least on the phone this weekend?
Oh, I think that this really ruined Matt Gaetz's weekend because he now knows that not only is Joel Greenberg, his wingman, taking the plea, but also that he is representing 2 federal prosecutors, that he has corroboration. He has text messages, emails, Venmo receipts, and very well may have other individuals like Matt Gaetz's ex-girlfriend to also back up Greenberg, because the feds aren't going to just rely on Greenberg's testimony alone. The guy is a walking criminal enterprise, and his words mean nothing. He has to have corroboration to be at all credible in front of a grand jury and then ultimately in front of a trial jury.
So, Pete, how long has Matt Gaetz been talking to prosecutors and that they've been able to come to this agreement that he's going to cooperate with them? And where does this go now?
So I think you meant how long has Joel Greenberg been talking to cooperators? Yes. Well, we know for at least a month and possibly before that. And I think it's absolutely right that the government would not have agreed to this if it didn't have some corroboration of what he said. And I should also say that this plea agreement contemplates that he will continue to cooperate with the investigators, that he will testify in any court proceedings, including before a grand jury. And then, of course, the benefit to him is if he fully cooperates, the government will seek a reduction in his sentence.
So if you're on Capitol Hill, the sort of way that we've heard, Garrett, from Republicans about this is let's wait and see what happens, right? I'm assuming that's where we still are, and this just happened, so I doubt that you've had an opportunity to talk to Republicans. There's a few other things going on Capitol Hill as well today. But is this likely to change the equation at all? Would you expect the level of nervousness to go up? What's your anticipation given this news today?
Well, this news broke after the House had its final votes for the week, so members are scattered to the winds, headed back to their districts. House Republican leadership have been pretty clear about this. They have said that the red line when it comes to Gaetz is if he is indicted, they would take action against him, possibly stripping him of his committees or taking some other action. But barring that, they're kind of leaving this alone. There's only been allegations. He's not been charged with anything. He has spoken to the Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, and has vociferously denied all of these allegations, as he has done publicly. And Gaetz is also kind of a man alone up on Capitol Hill. He's not, he's frankly a bit of a loner. And I think the general reaction that we've gotten trying to talk to lawmakers about this scandal is folks are sort of saying, I'm going to keep my distance from this. We will see what happens. I don't anticipate that changing over the weekend. But come Monday, we'll see what Joel Greenberg has to say.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.